We are so thrilled to have you for our celebration. The CEO of Allegiance Health. And first of all, I want to talk about the building that we're in. Is Charlie Anderson here? Charlie is going to join us a little bit in a little bit today. The Charles Anderson Building is named for a former trustee and a friend of Allegiance Health who, with his wife Pat, gave so much to our health system. And when I thought about today, I thought about a conversation that I had with Charlie when we opened our new federally qualified health center, the Center for Family Health. He was reminiscing that at the time, 2 decades prior to that, when we made the decision to partner with the county to create the center, that we didn't know what it would become, which is something very special, only that somebody needed to do something, and that somebody was us, to make sure that the underserved had access to high quality care. And we know now that that initial investment created a very special partnership between our health system and the center that has become a national model. And that's how I feel about today, that this partnership with Henry Ford Health System, as our two systems have really been on a long path trying to sort through all the changes that need to happen. We needed to create something different for our communities and the people that we serve, and we needed partners to do that, but it needed to be the right partners. So for us, speaking on behalf of Allegiance Health, I think that we have come to a point that not only for today, for our patients, our staff, our physicians in our community, but truly for generations to come, we've made the right decision because we took the time and because we stuck to our values about what was important. That has been at the forefront of the minds of the trustees and the leadership team, including our medical staff leaders, as we search for a partner that would really enable. It isn't just about size, it's about enhancement in resources and partnering in a way that adds to the organization, both organizations at large. What we have found at every step along the way, and it's been since December of 2014 that I first talked to Nancy, and then the first time the Henry Ford team came here to speak with us was April a year ago. And when we ended that session, and we had a conversation, it wasn't anything very formal. As the Henry Ford team left, we said to ourselves, we like these people. And that in itself isn't enough to have a partnership like this. And so we knew we would be friends, but we thought liking was a good place to start. So what we have is cultural alignment and a values alignment, and we've used some research done by outside companies who have shared with us in the tools that they administered to our leadership that they have seen something very unique between Henry Ford and Allegiance Health, and that is in their assessment that in the 90 organizations partnering that they have seen, they've never seen one as aligned as ours. And so all the feelings and all the sense that this was the right thing is being demonstrated by evidence in our culture and in our values. Henry Ford, of course, has strong clinical capabilities, and they have a tremendous amount of experience in the electronic health record that we are getting ready to install and have long aspired to have here at Allegiance Health. They have a strong and respected brand, and we are going to be very proud to be connected with it. We both have a long investment in population and community health, and so to bring those capabilities together, there's a focus on health rather than a focus on capabilities that we share are really going to strengthen us both for the future. Our patients are going to stay at the top of our focus, and they truly are our friends, our neighbors, and our loved ones. They're people we see the ease of access, and we've already had some very care when it's needed, while really working to keep care local so patients are close to their families and friends. Our focus on our people is mutual, and it's been at the top of the priorities of the executive team and of our trustees. Our people are who make our organizations. And we've all been through times of mergers and know the challenges that can bring. The fact that Henry Ford completely shares investment in people being willing to make difficult and sometimes not quite as sensible short-term decisions, knowing that we have to support our people for the long term, and we've seen clear evidence of that, drew us to Henry Ford Health System. Our people will be able to experience mutually paths to career enhancement, and already we're in the process of sharing staff back and forth before this partnership was final. And we know that Henry Ford will bring value to our community. Our community is going to notice capital investments that we're currently working on, increased access to physicians when that's needed, and also many other advantages that we think will become evident over time. They don't all look like bricks and mortar. They look like value added to becoming a high-performing health system. It gets down to then the culture, support for mission, vision, and values, about our people and about our community. And that's what we know that we have experienced with Henry Ford. This is in November when we completed the letter of intent. We had a discussion about when we would close, and we said we're going to go fast. And that's become our motto. Together we can go fast. I have asked over the last few months whose harebrained idea that was, as we all worked 7 days a week to get this done. But I'm glad we did. And for the team of Henry Ford, many of whom are in this room, we are really glad that we did it with you. So next, I would like to introduce Nancy Schlichting, the CEO of Henry Ford Health System. Nancy and I have been professional colleagues for a number of years, but I'm also proud to call her my friend. Nancy?
Thank you so much, Georgia, and it is truly an honor to be here. To say that we are thrilled is an understatement. We are honored that the Allegiance team, including the board and leadership and Georgia, the medical staff, really have confidence and trust in us. And that says a lot about, I think, the work we've done together, the relationships we've been able to form, and the opportunities that lie ahead. So I really want to thank you, Georgia, for that confidence and trust, and thank all of the board members, the physicians, the leadership team members of Allegiance Health. I also want to thank Wright Lassiter, Bob Riney, Sandy Pierce, our board members who are here today, Ford Health System, our physician leaders who have partnered so effectively with the physicians here in Jackson. I think many of you know I'm retiring at the end of the year, so sometimes when you go through leadership transitions, it's almost impossible to do a deal like this because people are uncertain about the future. And it's really a tribute, I think, to our board and to Wright and Bob and all of our leaders who have worked so effectively during this transition. And in fact, when I spoke with Georgia, that early conversation, I said, I'm going to be leaving. So it's so important that all of you have complete trust in our emerging new leadership team. And it's a credit to our leaders that you were able to accomplish that in such an effective way. When two organizations come together of any type, it's actually a very exciting opportunity for any community because often you can create, new kinds of products or services. You can take the intellectual capital of two organizations and bring it together. But, healthcare is even more special when you think about it because we really are assets of our communities. We were created to serve our communities. And when it comes to bringing two organizations together, it really is an act of love, if you think about it, because our love for our communities is such a critical aspect of how we lead and what we do and the decisions we make and the voluntary contributions of so many people that make an organization like Allegiance Health or Henry Ford Health System so spectacular. So we have that chance to come together and really bring our cultures of community commitment together and have. And as Georgia said, I don't think we could be better suited. Culture is based on values. It's based on decisions that are a vision of what healthcare should be. And we are completely aligned on every one of those elements. And how rare is that? So it gives all of us, I think, such enthusiasm for the future and a sense that, we've only just begun. And we are only going to see, I think, improvement in both of our organizations by working together with this wonderful opportunity. It's also interesting that there are only two health systems in Michigan that have won the Foster McGaugh Prize. And for those of you who are not aware, this is the highest award by the American Hospital Association for commitment to community. It is not an easy thing to win, but both Henry Ford Health System and Allegiance Health have been winners of that very prestigious award. And I think it again suggests that the alignment is very natural, because to do that, you have to be committed over many years and show demonstrated commitments in the community are showing really positive improvements in health and wellness. And if that's not enough, we also are two organizations that have incredible histories. We were founded by an industrial icon, Henry Ford. But Allegiance also is just a few years away from 2 years away from celebrating 100 years. And Mrs. Ida Foote donated land for the construction of the new hospital in honor of her late husband, W.A. Foote, in 1918. So we are grateful for our founders, individuals who had vision long before any of us were here, and really been able to accomplish over these almost 200 years, and what we are positioning our organizations to be able to do on into the future. So clearly, this is an exciting time for both organizations. We are so proud and honored to have a chance to do something we've never done before, and that is to expand outside of Southeast Michigan, which has been our home for those 100 years. And we believe that we will continue to support the absolute vital mission that Allegiance Health has in serving residents of Jackson, Hillsdale, Lenawee, Ingham, Calhoun, and Washtenaw counties and beyond. Strategies for the future that will continue to make us contribute in a meaningful way to the health and wellness of our great state of Michigan. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Notice that the podium is for smaller human beings than myself. First and foremost, thank you all for being here. And Georgia, I want to thank you for friendship, leadership, vision, and insight over this last year or so that I've known you. And for all of our senior leaders, Bob, thank you for what you've done to lead our executive team toward this process. Thank you, Sandy, for your leadership as our board chair. John, it was great meeting you just a few months ago. And I will tell you a quick story about John. I tell people all the time that I like people who just tell it like it is, who don't beat around the bush. And if you know John Nally, you know that's what he does. When Sandy and I met him, he looked me in the eye, and he just began grilling. And I loved it because our sense was if we're going to get a partnership started, it will be with folks who have plain talk and who are very focused on what they want to accomplish. Nancy, appreciate your leadership and for the legacy that you've created for our organization and the vision that you've created around what we're trying to accomplish today. And so I'm really pleased to be here over a year. And sometimes I'm embarrassed as I sit in a room with my colleagues who have 40 and 42 and 36 and 20 years of experience. And we're talking to folks that say, oh yeah, I've been with the family for a year. And so I'm like the long lost son that just got back into the fold. But it's been really exciting. And I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be here today to be talking about the partnership between Allegiance Health. Georgia, the Go Fast credo was something that was really critical because to do things like this, while you don't want to rush through the process, but you don't want to take too much time, and you want to leverage the great talent and the spirit that our two organizations have together. As Georgia indicated, she said that when they first met us, they liked us. And while we didn't necessarily know that, we did know from our first encounter with Allegiance that this would be a partnership that would be very special. And from that first encounter, we were very focused on trying to demonstrate and prove that we were the right partner for this organization. We knew that we would be honored for our two organizations to be part of the same family. And frankly, as we thought about what Allegiance has been for this community and what we have been for our traditional community, we couldn't think of a better partnership together. As both Nancy and Georgia have said, the similarities, the overlap, the congruency between our organizations is uncanny, and I look forward to seeing many, many, many years of all the synergy that will happen as we work together to improve the health of the communities that we serve. Some of you who have heard me talk before, I say to people that I have a singular goal as the incoming leader of Henry Ford Health System, and that is to lay the foundation for our second 100 years to be better than our first 100 years. And I say that as a fairly bold statement because our organization has had an incredible first 100 years, and I'm extremely proud of an organization with the foundation and legacy that we have. And so I think of it as a really unique and special opportunity to try to ensure that the second 100 years can be better than what's happened in the first 100 years. And I would say the same. The second 100 years is better than the first. And I'm completely convinced that with the joining of Allegiance Health and Henry Ford Health System, we've laid the foundation for our second 100 years for both of our organizations to be absolutely incredible together. We will continue to focus on our community's health. We will continue to focus on the populations we serve. And we will work very diligently together to ensure that everyone who needs access to the highest quality health care has it available to them where they live. And so that's a very special opportunity that we both have, and we will both be very focused on doing that together. As we think about how you serve your community here in Jackson and surrounding areas with the 3+ dozen ambulatory centers you have, we're so excited to meld those centers with the centers that we have available and to learn from this community on how we can provide even better care for the residents of Jackson and beyond. We're very, very focused on, as both Nancy and George have said, on growing the populations that have the influence and we think the privilege of care from the doctors, nurses, and other clinicians who practice their crafts in our organizations. And we look forward to supporting them well into the future. One of the other things that I would just highlight in terms of this with partnerships with their physicians. I got into healthcare administration in large part because the person who sort of mentored me in healthcare administration, I would say was not the most friendly towards physicians, sort of tolerated physicians. And I sort of thought, well, how can you run healthcare systems and not have a complete partnerships for those who deliver the care? And so I look very forward to learning and meeting more of the medical staff here. I look forward to the kind of collaboration that the Henry Ford physicians and the Allegiance physicians will craft together. And I am absolutely convinced that we will do amazing things for our communities from a clinical perspective. Last thing I would say, and then I'll turn it over to John, as we think about the transformation that's happening in healthcare, what's very important is that we don't just do more as healthcare organizations. What's most important is that we find ways to innovate, to transform, and to meet the needs of our patients and our communities in the way that makes most sense for them. As healthcare continues to evolve, we'll have to work together on tomorrow's healthcare problems. And I'm absolutely convinced that the partnership of Henry Ford Health System and Allegiance together will find those answers. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to John Nally, Chair of the Board of Allegiance Health, to share remarks. Thank you very much for the trust that the board has placed in Henry Ford and in this partnership. Thank you very much.
Good morning. First of all, you'll be pleased to know that I will be brief. Second, I see myself as a person that likes to continue to learn, and I just realized why my early dating years probably didn't go real well. As it's been said, I serve on the Allegiance Health Board, and on behalf of the entire Allegiance Health Board of Trustees, I just want to express our excitement to Nancy, Sandy, Bob, and the rest of you, the idea that we are now becoming a partner of our esteemed colleagues to the east. This is an exciting time for the board and for Allegiance, and I am personally proud to be able to witness this event. With the board's serious involvement in this journey, I personally came to realize that the entire process, the partner process, and the genuine excitement about everyone coming together to make this thing happen was just evidence, as you have heard, how these two organizations are so well aligned. We came to realize that whether you were speaking about Allegiance or Henry Ford, our focus was the same. You've heard it mentioned, a focus on people in our community, on our teams, and the people that we provide care for. So the board, as they realized that our priorities are in sync, we had a genuine excitement to know that this collaboration would come together. We know that the board and the leaders of our organization have worked very hard to get us to this point in time right now. And through that process, we have learned much about ourselves as a health system and what is really important to us in the community. We understand that there's still much work to do for us to fully integrate with our new partner. And yet we realize that it's all very much important, because what we are doing is what's right for our community and what is right for our people. It has been shared with me that Henry Ford once said, the idea of coming together is the beginning, keeping together is process, and staying together is success. And I like that. coming together, keeping together, working together. And so that is our plan with Henry Ford. Together, we will make a brighter future for all of us. Together, as partners, we will elevate the quality of care given to the people in our communities. And when it's all said and done, after all, isn't that what we're really all about and what we care about the most? So thank you for my brief remarks, and I would have the privilege of turning the microphone over to Sandy Pierce, the Henry Ford Health System Board Chair.
Thank you, John. Good morning. You know, I am so proud on behalf of the Board of Trustees of Henry Ford Health Systems to stand in front of all of you today and say thank you. Thank you to every one of you that is involved with Allegiance Health for having the trust and the commitment to join in partnership with Henry Ford Health Systems. If you just step back and think for a minute about two organizations that have been serving their communities for 100 years each, coming together to be even more powerful from a community health perspective, it's incredible. And the reason we're here is really because our vision on how to serve our communities is so well aligned. And that isn't always the case. I'm a banking employee, have been since 1978, been through lots of mergers, and rarely do they come together like this. So I really, on behalf of the board, appreciate that you chose us to partner with, because I think that you're going to be really excited, as we are, about what we're going to be able to do together. And if you take a look at, just if I can, just for a minute, read the visions of both organizations so that you understand just how synergistic this is. So here's Henry Ford's. Transforming lives and communities through health and wellness, one person at a time. One person at a time. And then you go to Allegiance Health's vision. We will create Michigan's healthiest community through exceptional health care and inspiring a passion for wellness. How great is that to be a part of? How proud we are as board members to be a part of this, what I think is going to be a historic moment for the state of Michigan, for the counties that you serve, for the counties that we serve, and the ones we go to beyond this. We are committed to helping you to continue to grow. You have built an incredible organization, and you have done so much for the people that you serve. And together, I can't even imagine what it's going to be like in the next 100 years, but I know it's going to be great. Thank you for having us today. Thank you for this partnership. And I'd like to now turn the podium over to Bob Riney, our Chief Operating Officer of Henry Ford.
Well, good morning, everybody. This is really a great day. This tie is not by accident. There are some sports fans in the state that think that blue and green can never work together. But when it comes to Allegiance and Henry Ford Health System, that couldn't be further from the truth. I want to start off by saying what an enormous privilege it's been for me to work with Georgia and her team at Allegiance so closely over the last few months and really get to know them and the Allegiance staff and the Jackson community. Now, I'd like to tell you that all the key decisions were made in formal conference rooms, but that really wouldn't exactly be the truth. And I think that last night really was symbolic of how we do work. And Georgia and I met for dinner at a bar in downtown Jackson. We shared something called soon but not yet famous nachos with extra jalapenos, and each had a cold beer, and worked through a couple of remaining issues. And it really embodies just the spirit, the earthiness of the two organizations as we come together. It's been very, very clear to me that we are all passionate about investing our time, our talents, and our energy in the health and wellness of the people in the communities that we collectively serve. And I'm so thrilled that this passion and our hard work have culminated in today's celebration. Speaking of hard work, and what was mentioned is one of the most exciting adventures we're already going to be embarking on immediately is helping Allegiance Health implement its complete electronic medical records. As mentioned at Henry Ford, we led a very, very successful campaign to get our Epic system up and running in early 2014. These digital health records make medical information readily available to our patients for the life of their care, and physicians, nurses, technicians, and other clinical staff who can access the most up-to-date information at any time they need it. Quite frankly, electronic medical records have revolutionized the way we care for patients, not to mention the unprecedented ability to give us to standardize and operationalize proven quality and safety standards. Having gone through this process successfully, and it is not for the faint of heart, more quickly and cost effectively. It's a great example of what we call sharing of best practices. And that sharing goes both ways, and that's what's really exciting about this partnership. Allegiance Health has an outstanding reputation for providing high-quality care, and we look forward to learning from them and some of the tools that they use in population health. We're also very excited to bring our health plan to Jackson County in a much broader way. Health Alliance Plan, which has been a part of our health system for more than 50 years, is committed to bringing unique products to businesses and consumers here and beyond in the state of Michigan. You might say it's all for you. As you all know, as Nancy mentioned and Wright mentioned, we celebrated our 100th anniversary last year at Henry Ford. At the beginning of this year, we ushered in the next 100 years with a new customer promise, and it's commemorated by the tagline, "All for you." It re-energizes a long-standing commitment we've made to our patients, taking the time to understand each of their individual and unique needs, based on things like how they want to access and receive care, what their unique medical history and biogenetics are, what treatment will work best for them, and how we can help them and their caregivers navigate through their health challenges without stress and worry. It's a big, big goal, but who wouldn't want that type of a care experience? Our friends at Allegiance Health embraced that promise immediately because, like us, they've remained committed to patients, families, and the community for nearly 100 years themselves, and are poised to carry on that great legacy. We are truly honored to join the Jackson community. At this time, it is my pleasure to invite everyone to the front of the hospital for a ceremonial sign unveiling. It's a relatively short walk from this room to the front of the hospital. So for those of you that want to walk, our teams will direct you there. It's fun to say our teams. For those of you carrying a lot of equipment or needing transportation, there's also a shuttle parked right outside which will drive you to the front of the building conveniently. So we look forward to seeing you all at the front of the hospital. Thank you so much for being here.
I am almost positive.
I appreciate it.
Audio check, 1 2 1 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, if everyone wants to come kind of behind the seating area, we're going to try to start promptly around 10:45, 10:50. So if you like, you can have a seat. Otherwise, you can stand right behind the seating area. Yep. If you would like, we've got people standing around with balloons. Feel free to grab a balloon. Feel free to fill in where you can. All day. We have seating available if anyone wants to have a seat. If you want to fill in towards kind of the center behind the chairs, we also have chairs available if anybody would like to have a seat. for those that just arrived, if you want to fill in behind kind of where the seating area is right here, we also have seats up front if anybody would like to have a seat.
He said he was going to be here. Okay, there's the pup. So, Adam, can we have that pup right over here? Because then I can, is there a way I can hand him the mic after?
Yeah, you should be able to, you should be able to take that one out. So when are you going to do that?
Very soon.
Okay, yep.
So just tell me one time.
Yeah, I just, well, okay, so we're gonna, I'm
Perfect. Thank
we're
you.
gonna say,
If you want to, yeah, just right there would be perfect.
we're gonna draw the banner. And then I'll do,
So we're not doing these remarks.
do you wanna make
No,
some?
no, 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 no. No, I think it's good the way you're doing it.
Is Mercedes here?
Yep, she's right over there.
Okay. Good morning, you all. We're so glad to have you here. I'm Georgia Fatasic, the CEO of Allegiance Health, if I haven't met you. And we want to celebrate with you our milestone of opening a new chapter in the history of Allegiance Health. We want first to ask our to bless this event and our futures.
I would be glad to do that. This is exciting. Please hold someone's hand. I'll do you. Please join me in this blessing. We look to you, a loving and resourceful creator, and we stand in your presence so thankful for our legacy in this community. And just as grateful, and with open arms and glad hearts, we join our Henry Ford family, and we celebrate all that we're becoming. And now we ask that you bless our union, as we, hand in hand, give our very best and journey together into the next century. Amen.
Thank you, Versailles. With this new chapter comes a new name to reflect a strong side-by-side partnership, investing in the communities that we serve. And first, I want to invite special guest, our security dog, Austin, who has, I've been told, a word to say for all of us. Austin?
Ready? Ready to go? Ready? Ready? Good boy. Ready? Ready? Good boy.
Thank you, Austin. Thank you, our K-9 unit. And now, our partner, Chief Operating Officer at Henry Ford Health System, who is going to be our leader here. And we are also going to be joined by this talented quintet from the Jackson Symphony Orchestra to help us unveil our new name. So quintet, we are proud to be all right.
And-
Okay, Bob, our new name is
Henry Ford, Allegiance Health.
So to help us unveil and blow all the signs off. And we also want you to know that in keeping with the environment, and I was chastised until we found organic balloons and ribbons that have the lifespan of an oak leaf. Seriously. So with our new name, when these signs come down, this is sharing of a truly collaborative spirit and a vision for expanding healthcare for everyone. And we want to thank each and every one of you for being here on a very special day for Henry Ford Allegiance Health. Wonderful, we got them down. And to our staff and our physicians here, both Henry Ford and the Allegiance team share a deep commitment to you, knowing that you bring the value to our health system and care for our community. Members of the media, we're going to have a brief photo session here, and then we will be available for individual interviews, and our press teams from both health systems will be here to guide you.
It's there's so much carbon.
Well, it didn't.
Yes, we do.
I guess it didn't get attached at the bottom.
That one's working beautifully. Yeah, that one's perfect. Huh?